What's up, guys, and welcome back to Empire Total War, where, last week we made an absolute hoopah of stuff. Well, I made a hoopah of things, and, left my army behind. Colombo is currently sitting there with my entire army inside it, and my fleet, Gavin Kingsley, Kinsley, went away up here, had a wee look at Calcutta, was prepared to drop his troops off, and then realised he'd left them all behind. So he's now making his way back to pick them up, and then we'll head up here and try and take Cuttack or Calcutta. We also managed to hold off Mysore last week, which appears to have undergone some submersion here. There's a... We might need to get the structural engineers in, because that's not looking good. That Venice is isn't even as sunk as that. But anyway, we managed to hold it off and hold on to it from these guys. It was actually they've disappeared. I think they're dead now. Who tried to attack us and failed. Arcot, which we had a few years ago, like a year ago at this point, is currently sitting with a pretty large army in it, and another pretty large army sitting just outside it. So it looks like that's pretty much gone. We're not getting that back anytime soon. Just try and hold on to Mysore. I think once we take Cuttack and Calcutta, it should hopefully start spreading their resources a bit thinly. I've been noticing that apart from these two armies here, every army they've got is like 1 or 2 units. Like I think they've been developing units here and bringing them across, but instead of merging them all together, they're just sending like 2 units at a time, and then they're just kind of like amassing individual units down here for some reason. So I think they might be struggling for people, given that we keep killing everybody they send our way. I think if we take this, it might stretch them a bit too thin, and we might stand a good chance of trying to take something up here as well, and then push our way down and up at the same time. And I think that's probably our best option for India, trying to take that over. And then we can look at taking all this stuff. Afghanistan, Persia. I mean, to be honest, it's probably going to take about 6 years just to walk across that, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. We did have this guy, Random Ottoman Empire Army. I have no idea where these guys turned up from. Like, there's nowhere they could spawn. Like, they couldn't just suddenly appear. So, and I didn't see any of them get dropped off on a ship either. They're not rebels. We had rebels who attacked us. We killed all them. These guys are actual Ottoman Empire soldiers, and I have absolutely no idea how they got there. They just suddenly appeared down here at one point, raided this, we attacked them, they then went up here, we attacked them again, and they're down here. I think they've got 7 cannons left, which, well, I mean, they're not going to do very much with 7 cannons. So, yeah, I have no idea where they came from. Absolutely no idea, but they're pretty much dead, and I think we can, once we replenish this army a bit more, we can then probably look at taking Ankara this week, which would be quite a big step. I think Ankara it goes all the way out to here, this territory, so that's a big territory to take, if we can get it, which would be very impressive. I mean, given that the territory of Istanbul is only that, I mean, you could probably fit about 3 of that in there, so yeah, it's a big territory. If we can secure it, it'd be very, very useful. France, as the frame rate decides that it's not very interested in rendering anything at the moment. Yeah, France is we've got ourselves what I want to call a temporary ceasefire. We managed to get peace with them, and yeah, it's given us the ability to repair everything, because our trade last week was not good. I think we were making about 5,000 per turn. By the time we took all of our taxes and all of our army upkeep and everything, I think we were only making about 3,000 coins a turn, which is just not enough. Not enough. So we got ourselves a peace treaty with the French, which allowed us to get our trade back up to somewhere where it should be. Now sitting just above 25,000 per turn. And by the time you take into account all of our taxes and everything else, we're making 26,000 per turn after all of our upkeep and everything. So yeah, it's looking pretty good for us in terms of money. We are at war with a lot of people, but not a lot. Actually, we're at war with Persia. When did that happen? Anyway, I think we're at war with a lot of people, but none of them are that big. Like Persia, I think's, well, actually, Marathas are probably the biggest. Then Quebec, the Ottomans, and Persia. So there's nothing massive. Nothing absolutely massive. I think we were fighting a lot of wars on a lot of fronts, and I think getting rid of France has definitely helped us in just sort of securing our position a bit better. We were in a bit of a sticky situation financially there, which I don't think it was getting much better. I did remember as well, actually, that we were building an army here in Morocco with the intent to attack Algeria, which we did have a spy down there, but unfortunately he got himself murdered. So we have no idea what Algeria currently looks like. So I think I might, after this turn, build up another as many units as I can, 5 or 6, and that should give us a pretty sizable army that we'd then be able to walk our way along here. We're at war with the Barbary States, so it's yeah, it should be pretty easy. We could take Algeria, Tunisia, and Tripoli as well. As for America, Alan gave us a suggestion last week. He messaged me on Facebook and suggested that we build an army in Florida and use that to attack Texas, which I think I'll probably do, to be honest. I think I'm going to build a few more units here, join them up with this army, and then we shall send this army with big Blair Faraday, who's been around for decades. We'll send them up and start trying to take Fort de Chartres back and push our way into Quebec, hopefully trying to build units as we go. And the army from Florida will attack Texas, hopefully win it. I still don't know what's going to happen with these guys. I'm a bit wary of the fact that these guys took out so many of my men with so little of theirs, but if we can secure it, we could then possibly look at taking on Mexico as well, because they've got Guatemala, New Spain, which is basically Mexico, and New Mexico, which is interesting. They've got New Mexico, but Mexico doesn't exist yet because it's New Spain. So anyway, that's the thing. So hopefully that all works out. We'll end turn now because I've got no money. Right, so that turn ended, and successfully we didn't actually have anything go completely untoward, which is quite nice. So we can now focus on recruitment. Right. Apparently line infantry is quite good. RB's been telling me that. So we'll get some line infantry. That's the one problem with this place, is it's not actually that well developed, so it takes quite a while to develop units. That's actually just a problem with America in general, I think. There's not many places, I think, apart from Philadelphia and possibly Quebec. I think apart from those two, the mainly all of the cities are, well, let's say cities, towns are all quite small establishments, so they don't actually have that much in the way of ability to build units. We're kind of just stuck with being able to build 2 units per turn. At least Florida can build some more interesting units. They're not just like militia and that's it, but we've not got the greatest ability to build big armies down here. It's 1 or 2 units at a time, which kind of hampers how quickly we're able to move through America. So I'm hoping, oh my days, they're coming. The French Quebecios are coming. So yeah, we're going to have to sort out for that. Actually, what I might do, I might just stick these guys back in here for the time being, just to ensure that they can't just walk straight into New Orleans, somehow get past, just walk around us and into New Orleans. They have to actually attack us. So yeah, we'll try and hold off from these guys. I'm not going to attack them out in the open because they've got quite a sizable army. It's not massive, but it's not something to be scoffed at. So yeah, we'll have to just keep an eye on what's going on there. It will probably be next week before these armies are ready to take on anything, but we'll start building them, and hopefully by the time these guys get down here and attack us and we well, repel them, fingers crossed, we should then be in a position able to go up and start taking this sort of stuff. Head back over to India, where we'll actually pick up our army this time. Actually, what I might do, well, I remember, is hire a general. What's his name? Daniel Scott. Interesting. Right, we'll get him and his men, and we'll stick them on the fleet this time. And now we shall head back up this way. It will take us a couple of turns. Do they have any ports up here? They have a port there. Oh, they have a port there as well, right next to Calcutta. So we should be able to just walk straight in. Right, so we've got 5 more units being recruited in Morocco, which should take our army to just about full. We would have one space left, which is alright. And then we'll take them and attack Algeria next turn. And as for Istanbul, we shall just make sure that all of our men are being replenished. So I'm not sure, that's what I've said this before, I would very much like, I think they changed this in future games, in like Rome 2 and stuff, but it's really annoying to know that your men are being replenished, but not know how long it's going to take for them to actually be fully replenished. Like, if it's a turn or 2 turns or whatnot. So, it's kind of annoying that you can see that they're being replenished, but I don't know if I can attack next turn, or if I have to wait another turn after that, or what the deal is. But we shall give it another turn, and then we shall look at taking on Ankara. I think what I'll do as well is I'll just attack these cannons that have decided to take over the thrice farmlands, and we shall hopefully murder them all. We did. Oh my god, they killed 96 men! Oh, note to self, the computer is awful at attacking cannons, so we'll put them back into Bulgaria. Right, we'll end turn again, and see what happens, make some more money, and then I think we should look at trying to take Ankara, hopefully if we've replenished enough, and make our way towards Algeria. Right, as for India, we shall send our guys up towards Cuttack, and hopefully... For goodness sake, our frame rate is taking the absolute piss right now. Right, so we shall hopefully absolutely ruin the 720 like armed militia. Not even militia, just armed men that have been given a sword or a gun by the looks of things. So we'll hopefully win that pretty convincingly. We did lose quite a few men, but we did kill all of them. So yeah, we've taken ourselves Cuttack. And now, without even pausing, we shall head up here and try and take Calcutta as well. We shall repair this, and we shall, well actually we won't recruit, because we can't recruit because nothing is, because this is currently on fire. So, we've got ourselves Cuttack, which hopefully should make these guys have to think twice about actually heading, like, sending everybody down this way. They might have to start heading people this direction as well, so we'll see what they do about that. Meanwhile, I'm going to send my fleet in here just to raid that port, stop them getting some money. How much money do they make from there? Well, none now. Oh, for Christ's sake. Oh, for goodness. Right, I've made an absolute mess here. I like, attacked these guys because I wanted to see just how many people they had. But when I retreated, I expected, like, you know, you're attacking somebody just outside your walls, you would maybe go out and then come back in again and sit inside Mysore. No, they retreated over here. And now these guys, I tried to put them in Mysore and I couldn't do it because these guys are sitting here, and I mean, it's pretty much a guaranteed loss. So we're now having to retreat with these guys as well. Basically, I've just left Mysore completely open for these guys to just walk in and take. Excellent. Absolutely bloody excellent. Oh my god. Right. Well, I'm just going to recruit a load of men and hope that they actually get recruited in the next turn before these guys take it. Otherwise, they can just walk into Mysore. Which is absolutely wonderful. Right, well, you can stop getting repaired then, because you're probably about to get lost. But we could possibly forget about Mysore. If they do take it, I might just send my men up this way and try and take something up here. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when it end turn, but I've made an absolute mess of things, which, I mean, it's pretty typical of me, but we'll hopefully take Calcutta next turn, and, well, fingers crossed we're able to hold on to Mysore. I've absolutely no idea what will happen there. As for Morocco, this frame rate is taking the absolute mech. We shall recruit ourselves a general, and we'll make our way towards Algeria, and taking that. So hopefully we can secure that. I have no idea what they look like, what sort of the amount of troops they have, or anything like that. I don't expect it to be too much, but you never know. So we'll find out when we get there. Right, how is Istanbul looking? I've got so many battles going on, I keep forgetting like what's actually happening. So we've replenished some. I think we have to wait another turn before the rest are replenished. Right, so we'll wait another turn. We'll just end turn now. Yeah, right, so this is what's happened. We do have some men. It's basically, it's militia. So they're basically useless. Right, I'm just going to auto-resolve it. And we've lost Mysore. So we either have two options. We either try and take Mysore back immediately, or we send our troops north and try and take their capital. Right, so I think what we'll do is we'll send these guys as scouts. Just up to have a look, see what's going on up this direction. So there's no units sort of anywhere hidden. Right. These guys unfortunately can't go that far. I think it's because of the cannons. I think we'll take them as far as we can. Yeah, we still can't quite get there with any of our men, which is unfortunate, so we'll have to wait another turn before we attack this place. Unless these drummers can take it on their own, which I'd be highly surprising. Well, they killed quite a few. I mean, they still got absolutely done in. But they killed 65 men and only lost 25, so, I mean, I suppose that was probably a successful battle, given that they are only drummers after all. So yeah, we'll try and take that next turn, possibly try and take Satara. Yeah, Satara. We'll try and take Satara. Take Joya. We'll take that and that, hopefully. And we've also got this lad over here. They've recruited some men inside Calcutta, so we'll see what it looks like. Still looks like it's pretty well heavily balanced in us. Even though we only have 1,500 men, and they have well over 2,000, it's still showing us has got an advantage here. So I think we'll auto-resolve. Oh my word! That is an absolute slaughtering. We killed all of them. We killed over 2,000 men and only lost 91. That is outrageous. Hang on, I'm going to have to do some maths here. Right, so basically we killed almost 26 men for every one man we lost. That's mad. That is absolutely mad. So we've taken Calcutta, and we have single-handedly annihilated the populace at the same time. Right, so I think we'll start repairing this. This looks like quite a decent-sized city, so we can definitely start building up units here. And also, the surrounding area looks quite good for farmland. So how much money? It's only making 1,000 per turn. I would have expected it to make more, but I think some of these farms are a bit undeveloped. So I think if we develop these farms, we could start making quite a significant amount of money in a short period of time from this one region, which would be quite useful. What I'll do is I'll take some of my men and we'll send them back down to Cuttack just to make sure that we keep that secure. We'll repair our ports as well that we raided in the process. And yeah, we've secured ourselves the top corner of India. And all the way down to here as well. Actually, all the way down to here. In fact, if we still had Arcot, we basically had this entire coastline, which would have been quite useful, but unfortunately we've lost Arcot, and it doesn't look like we're going to get it back anytime soon. Even though they have left it undefended, it's a bit of a journey for our men to get across there and take it back. So I think we'll leave that and we'll try and take this up here. And I think if we could take this and then try and take Hyderabad, it cuts the Marathas in half. Like, they have the north and they have the south, but then we've got the middle section, so it kind of, yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but it would cut them in half, nevertheless. So we'll possibly look at trying to do that. I don't really know what will happen. We'll just go with the fling and see what happens when it happens. This is looking absolutely outrageous. I mean, the French have just built up so many units around here, but these guys were heading north, so I'm not sure where they're heading, if they're just going up to here to defend Chambéry. or if they're actually going to head up this way to Strasbourg and try and take that back, which is what I would have done if I was the French, but they've definitely got the men to do it. They could wander away up here. They're at war with the Ottomans, the Austrians, so they've definitely got the men to be able to walk up here and try and take Strasbourg back, but they don't seem to have the will. So, yeah, we'll leave them be. Our men here can get closer to Algeria. They don't have many men at all, to be honest. I think it should be a pretty one-sided battle. Over here, the Quebecios decided not to attack us directly and have decided to go and raid this sugar plantation, which is kind of annoying. But we're still recruiting, like replenishing, and we're still recruiting men, so I think we'll just continue recruiting more men here. And the same goes for Florida. We'll just keep recruiting as many men as we can, and then next week we should have enough men to be able to try and attack Texas, and once we deal with these guys, look at going north. It's just such a slow progress in America, because it takes so long to build up your units, and then even once you've got them, it takes forever to go from anywhere, because, I mean, it takes like, yeah, at least 2 turns, probably more likely 3 to get up to Fort de Chartres, and then it'll probably be at least 2 to get up to Detroit and stuff as well, so it just takes a long time to go anywhere around here, so, yeah, it's a bit annoying, the amount of distance that you have to cover in America, but, I mean, we've got to do it. If we want to take over everything, then it has to be done at some stage. How's our recruitment done here? Is it finally replenished? It has finally replenished, so we shall take almost everybody. We'll leave some militia behind. Right, we'll take these guys, and we'll head towards Ankara. And we've got a random Ottoman rebel army, which we shall just dispatch. Oh, for goodness sake, again! I mean, we killed all of them, but that's a big loss. I'm not happy with that. Anyway, dealt with those guys, and we'll head towards Ankara, and hopefully secure that in the next turn. Did I even leave any men here? No, I apparently took them all, even though I told them to leave. Alright, fine, whatever. Just send some armed militia across from Bulgaria, just to make sure that this place doesn't rebel and suddenly get taken back by some Ottoman rebels. And we'll end turn again, and I think we'll try and take the Ankara, and that'll probably be it for this week. Oh, the Barbary... we'll give you a peace treaty if you give us both of those. I like how it's like we're literally got a full-sized army sitting on the borders of one of their cities, and they know that they're about to lose it, so they're like, "Oh, can we have a peace treaty, please? Please, can we just? We were a bit rash to go into battle, like go into war with you when whoever it was declared war on us. I think it's when we declared war on the Ottomans or somebody. They were allied with the Barbary Straits and they joined them. I think they may be rejecting that decision right now, or regretting that decision, should I say. Alright, well let's get rid of the rest of our drummers. Again! They killed 10 men for every man that they like deployed. These drummers, honestly, they're absolutely beastly. Like, they'll just kill everything. Right, I'm going to attack those Quebecios. I've had enough of them. Wandering around, just ransacking everything. I shall send my men and take on these guys. I'll resolve that. Lost a fair few, but they only have 152 remaining now. So, yeah, safe to say that we won that pretty convincingly. Right, so we're replenishing these guys as we march. I think we'll just chase these guys down and finally put an end to them. And then we'll look at taking on Fort de Chartres with our pretty sizable army. I think it's pretty well... Once it's replenished, which should only take maybe a turn or two, we'll then look at taking on Fort de Chartres. How's the army in Florida coming? It's about halfway. So we'll keep recruiting. And next week we should have enough men to then go and take on Texas. The plebs in Texas. These Pueblo nations, so we'll take them on. And hopefully beat them. But I have no idea what to expect, to be honest. I could could walk in there and completely slaughter them, or it could be, well, it could be a slaughtering the opposite direction. But we'll take Algeria as well, so we'll secure that. And I didn't even see how many men we lost. I don't think it was very much. If we can take Tunis and Tripoli, then we've secured all of the Barbary Straits, and that'll end them. Which I think everybody in the game will probably be quite happy at us, because it seems like everybody in the game's at war with the Barbary Straits, but the Barbary Straits don't seem to do very much about being at war with anybody. They just kind of, I think they're just pretty much pirates, as far as I can tell. They just sail around blockading trade routes, and that's about all they do. So yeah, I think if we get rid of them, everybody should probably be quite happy with us. Right, Ankara. Right, well that's interesting. Oh well, actually, they've got large armies, but they're battle scarred, and they've only got 800 men. Well, 900, and we've got 2,500, so it should be pretty well good for us. But I think we'll auto-resolve and hopefully we win. Right, we lost quite a lot. We did lose quite a lot. 900 men almost. We killed a lot of theirs. They've only got 237 men remaining. So that should give us a pretty strong, and they've run away as well. They have town guard, which is some 1,900 men. But again, it's just town guards. It's just armed populace with guns and swords, so it should be easy battling. And it was. Again, we lost 233 men, but we killed all of them. So it wasn't quite as big a slaughtering as it was earlier when we attacked Calcutta. But that's a pretty sizable loss for them, given the amount of men they had, and the amount of men we had. That was a pretty big loss. So we've taken Ankara now. And they've only got this one group of enemies here. And that's about it, to be honest. They've got... Well, that's interesting to see over here now. They have some men, but it takes them... Like, the thing is it takes about 2 turns to get here from anywhere over this direction. So they can't bring anyone here and get to us without us noticing. They can't just come out of left field and suddenly attack us. So we'll see them, and we'll know for about 2 turns that they've got to walk about here and then walk up to here as well. So we'll know that they're on their way, and it gives us time to prepare. But in the meantime, I think we shall just try and repair everything in Ankara. What can we build? Why not? And we shall replenish all of our men as well, and that should hopefully take a couple of turns, and then we'll look at recruiting as much men as we can. And then we can look at pushing on, possibly Damascus, Armenia, Georgia. I'm not really sure. We're at war with Persia as well. Yeah, I'm not sure which way to go, to be honest. I'm not sure whether we're... Well, if we keep pushing this way with our army through the Barbary Straits, once we take Tripoli, we can then look at taking Cairo. And then if we take Cairo, we could push our way up into Jerusalem and Damascus and try and take these guys as well with this army from Ankara, and it could possibly end the Ottomans that way. And then we'll be straight onto the Persians, which we could then try and take the Persians, and before you know it, we'll be battling India, and we could possibly, by that point, have joined India and Europe together with all of our men, which would be, well, with all of our territories, which would be very, very good for us. So, yeah, I think, for goodness sake, India, for some reason, I don't know if it's all the smoke, but every time we go to India it takes an absolute age to render a frame. But we'll attack these guys, we'll resolve that, and lose quite a lot of men. That's, I mean, they did have quite a lot of men, to be fair, but they've cleared off, and we'll try and take this place. I'll resolve that. Again, we lost quite a few men, but we've killed all of them. And Joya, I'm going to pronounce it Joya. I have absolutely no idea how it's pronounced. Is now ours, and I think we'll use it as a base just to replenish our men. Because yes, Satara is quite heavily reinforced, so I think it's going to be a bit of a challenge to take them. They are sending an army this way as well, This was the army, I'm pretty sure, that was sitting inside Ankara. Not Ankara. Inside Arcot is now heading north along the coast towards Katak. So I think what we'll do is we'll just send some more of our men. In fact, we'll send our general and some cannons, and I think we'll even send some line infantry as well down here, just to make sure that this place is well equipped for when they arrive. Yeah, it's not a big loss if we do lose Katak, because this is the place we really want to keep, is Calcutta, because it's a much bigger city. It's able to produce the much better units. So if we lose Calcutta, then we're in a bit of an issue. But I think if we lose Katak, we're not. It's not the end of the world, really. I've just noticed as well, there's another army up here, pretty sizable, heading this direction. So yeah, we're going to have to keep our wits about us. I think we'll just try and recruit as many men as we can actually up here. I mean, look at, we can recruit 6 men in this place, like 6 units in one turn. So yeah, that should hopefully within the next turn have a very big army sitting inside Calcutta and Katak, ready to repel anything that comes our way. And yeah, I think that's probably going to wrap it up for this week. We haven't really done much in America. We're looking to try and push our way north and take out these Quebecios have actually significantly slowed our progress. I think if they hadn't been walking around here, I think we would have already pushed up and tried to take Fort de Chartres, but unfortunately they've kind of slowed us down a little bit. We are building an army inside Florida as well, which in a few turns will be big enough to then send over towards Texas, and we can then look at trying to take out Texas, which would be, it's just a thing off of our mind really. I think I'm not sure what to expect with Texas, but if they were to send their men up here, especially if we're battling the Quebecios up this direction, then yeah, it leaves New Orleans a bit undefended and quite easy for these guys to just wander in. So yeah, I think it's probably worth trying to take them, and then we can also look at trying to take Mexico. And if we take Mexico, then we've basically linked South and North America. We'll have all of it. So yeah, it's coming along. It's just taking a long time in the Americas. As for Europe, we gained Algeria, which I mean it's not a big gain, but it was something at least, given that we've been sitting here with Morocco for ages and finally actually used it to build up an army to take over this direction, and we'll keep pushing this way and hopefully try and eradicate the Barbary Straits in the next week's video. And we also secured ourselves Ankara, which is quite a big take given the size of area that it is. How much money does it make us? I think I've already looked at this. We're exempting it from tax, which I mean I'm not really. I mean we're only making 1,500 from it, so we can keep exempting it from tax for the time being, and hopefully they don't rebel too heavily. It's like Istanbul, I think, rebelling slightly as well. They're not in the best of moods, so I think we might have to just recruit some more men just to make sure that get some drummers. Yeah, just to make sure that any rebellions that happen don't stand much chance of actually taking Istanbul back from us, which would be a bit of an annoyance if we lose Istanbul to a rebellion. As for India as well, we lost Mysore. Unfortunately, it was completely my fault, being a bit stupid. I mean, I expected to, when I retreated, I expected to like go back into the city and not go away across onto the coast, which left the city completely undefended. But we have taken our army, and we've taken Joya, and we also took Katak and Calcutta, which was our plan last week, which ultimately was completely undone by the fact I forgot to take my men with us. So yeah, we've now done that, we've secured that, and hopefully we can hold on to it. And that's pretty much all that's happened this week. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this video, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. So until then, cheerio.